Hey guys, welcome to Two Guys in Hockey Talk, Season 4, Episode 41. We're at you with the special show tonight on Episode 31. Hey Pavel, what's happening in your world today, man?
Playoffs. Nothing but playoffs. I'm doing good. I am glued to the TV. Apart from right now, I took 5 minutes just to grab a drink, and I'm back in front of the camera to chat with you beautiful people. And I'm super excited because we are on day 3, game 2 for a lot of teams in the playoffs. And it's been a rig-a-ding dandy, as you like to say. So I'm very excited. But remember, we're here live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Give us a follow, a shout. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook, where we get our news. We have a website coming out with JR Designs, who is one of our best sponsors. We work with Sports Empire for all your needs surrounding all sports, NBA, NFL, MLB, MMA, whatever you want to know, they've got you covered. But we here are their hockey content, so give us a follow. And you can follow Evan and argue with him at Revenev on Twitter. Where's me, hockey_2. Evan, how you doing after that long intro from me?
Well, man, we're going to have to videotape that and just kind of replay it each week to be able to work through it. Man, it's so awesome when it comes down to playoffs, because anyone in the NHL especially, because it's the pinnacle of all hockey players, you know, that people love to follow, you just get excited no matter what's really going on. And I mean, people who are not fans become fans. That's what's one of the greatest things I love about it at that very time. So anyway, it's great, man. We got a lot of stuff that we want to talk about today, guys, with you. Now, one of the things that we got going on, if you're joining in, what we're going to do in just a few moments. So if you are joining us live, oh, by the way, we often forget this, and we got to put something in here so you guys remember. The Sports Empire Network, our partners, also are on Spotify. So if you look up Spotify Sports Empire Network, you can get podcasts coming through. So you can get Two Guys in Hockey Talk, our live show right now here today. This will be going up onto our Spotify. You can check our last special edition and so forth. So, okay, special show. We're going to talk playoffs. We're going to talk anything hockey. But we want to open up the door today. We'll invite you guys backstage if you want to come on and talk with us. You have a question. Now, guys, we're going to have to limit. We're not going to be able to bring you on for 10, 15 minutes at a time. But if you're interested and you want to come in, then what I need you to do is click on the link. So what we're going to do is we're going to post the link into the section. So I'm going to put it up there from Two Guys. There you go. So if you're following on Facebook or if you're following on YouTube, there's a link right there. You click on that link. You're going to go right live backstage, and then we'll come on and we'll talk some hockey with you, whatever you want to talk about. So if you're Ray, if you're Zill, if you're Donald, if you're Larry, if you're Susan, or if you're Ezra, you come on and we love to chat with you. So why don't we go ahead and maybe just do a little bit of a recap of kind of some of the stuff that's happened last night. You talk about a ring-a-ding-dong dandy, man. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I'm missing something. Okay.
Beverage.
There we go.
That way you know it's a real one.
Woo! Okay, give us an update. Last night.
It's been a wild 2 days of hockey. Where should we start? Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. What a wild thing. First off, your initial thoughts on the 3-game suspension for Michael Bunting on his hit off Henrik Cernak, who's now out for a couple of games. I don't know how long.
This is gonna be my take. So some of you are gonna like this take and some of you are gonna hate this take. Suspension warranted. Bunting has done some questionable stuff, but seeing other suspensions, this is my problem. Are you suspending based on the injury, or are you suspending based on what actually happened? And that's my concern. If you're going to suspend people because based on the injury, now you're waiting. So what if people, they take the injury and make it look worse? So as far as I'm concerned, the suspension should be regardless. The same. Oh, my energy drink's going down quick. Hey, Kyle, how you doing, man? Okay, so in my opinion, do not base it on injury. 3 games is way too much. I thought max 2, 1 should have been the game. I'll be honest with you. Toronto's either going to rally behind this and say something about it and make a statement, or if they go down 2 games, I'm really worried, and they're not going to have Bunting in their lineup.
I mean, this gives an opportunity for either a Wayne Simmons to come up to add a little bit more grit and sandpaper, or you bring in Matt Nyes, who, although he's a rookie and, could potentially be thrown to the Wolves, he has shown that he can be an elite caliber player and could be a top 6 in the future. It's a good test. I mean, you got to get your feet wet sometimes. You see what you got from Cale Makar. I'm not trying to compare Matthew Nyes to Cale Makar. I'm just saying sometimes you got to start at a certain point and you got to go in and get thrown to the Wolves. Now, you're still playing to a home crowd, so that's your advantage. You do have to respond. I know it sounds cliche to say, but it is the biggest game of the season tomorrow for the Maple Leafs, and you got to rally around it. That being said, this feels like Kadri 2.0. Although when I was tweeted today, he tweeted back to the person that said, keep my name out of this. So good for Kadri, right? I mean, things happen. But overall, what did you think of their game? Samsonov, what happened with the quick goals? Did they look jittery? Their top guys not perform? I mean, it's only one game, Evan. I agree. But what are your thoughts of the overall game?
It was almost like I felt like Tampa has been playing possum going into it's like they rested up and just knew they were making the playoffs and didn't make the final push. So that's always my concern with it is that we can take a team too lightly. Looking at the way they came out now, either Toronto just broke down defensively. They left Samsonov hanging a few times. Now, I'm just going to put all penalties aside. The refs didn't cause the game and the loss, guys, if you're a Maple Leafs fan. But I'm going to tell you, Oiler fans, same thing. It wasn't because of the refs calling the penalty in overtime. It's not because they had less penalties. Those 2 teams can play a lot better. If they do everything else, they're probably not in those positions. So you got to take the refs out of this game. It's not the sole reason why it was. This is not the Ducks. This is not the Ducks game where, was it Ryan Kessler pulls the pads apart with his hands and the goal goes in. That's not that kind of bad reffing.
If Toronto wants to make that argument, they got a few power plays and they got 2 power play goals. So if you're saying it's because of reffing, why did you get 2 power play goals out of it, right? So I
okay, that's fair.
Also, the first 2 goals were first minute and like a minute and 30 seconds by Pierre-Edouard Bellemare or Pat Maroon, one of the two. Or Cirelli, sorry, it was Bellemare and then Cirelli. So really, this is on the team playing defensively poor, right?
Absolutely.
Big hit by Jake McCabe. That was, and of course, Tampa now it's questionable with some of their guys. Not only is Hedman a game time decision, so is Tanner Jeannot, but Esimont is out, and so how is Tampa going to respond, right? So they still got 4 past Vasilevsky until that Bunting hit. So
I mean. Okay, so by the way, while we're talking, I'm going to put it out there again. You guys can look in the comments section if you're on Facebook or YouTube right now. If you want to join us and talk live, this is a talk you can. So instead of a call in, we're going to bring you on live with your video. If you don't want to show your video, it's fine. Come on live. You can talk. Just go to the stream. It's right on the side. You can come on live and join us right now. Not a problem. Come backstage. And as soon as we get a moment, we'll bring you into the picture if you're wanting to. So just remember, we may have a limited amount of time. So definitely, if you're there, Kyle, any of you guys, if you want to jump in, jump in. I don't know where Ray is tonight, man. What's up with you, Ray? You said you were coming on. We're ready
He's
to
really
talk.
Upset that the Rangers beat the Devils. So let's talk about that series.
Okay.
What happened there? All that speed by the Devils, and yet the Rangers came out blasting. It
was interesting. I think you talked about it when Ray was talking on our show Sunday and saying, you better not say anything but. And interesting enough, the very things that you talk, people forget the Rangers were good last year and they shouldn't have got there. They're a better team this year. And whether or not you think they signed Tarasenko, that guy's a beast. I mean, he's been to the Stanley Cup and won. You know what I mean?
They have a good top 6, one of the best top 6, because you have Chris Kreider, who has continued on his, apart from being a power play specialist last year, as people like to say online, power play merchant. But Mika Zibanejad is there. Philip Cheeto, or Cheeto, however you want me to pronounce it. The kid line, Lafreniere is playing solid. And they're back. And let's talk about Adam Fox having a quietly amazing Norris-like season again.
Can I say this?
Sure.
In my playoff pool, I took Adam Fox. I am so right now. It's looking good. He only cost me 2 out of 5 to get Adam Fox. I don't know how that
I have no idea. I
happened.
picked Bergeron, and he's day to day.
And then I got to tell you, you guys have heard me. I am disappointed in Lafreniere, what he's actually done. I don't know if it's the Rangers development, what it is. Hopefully he changed it around. I really like the player. I like the guy. I actually put Lafreniere because I needed a guy with a 1 in my fantasy pool for the playoffs. So I picked him to be able to pull that thing together. So.
But again, the Rangers came out blasting. The Devils need to compete. And again, goaltending was my biggest concern. And it was evident with 5 goals against, right? So the Devils can score, don't get me wrong. And you need more from Andre Palat, who can really perform in the playoffs. You need more from Timo Meier, as you indicated on Sunday. But really, they need to get going. And defensively, they cannot have those lapses because Vanacek is going to have a hard time. He needs to kind of settle in the net. So moving over. Yeah. Let's talk about the wild game between the Seattle Kraken beating the former Stanley Cup champions in their first ever playoff win, 3-1. What did you think of that game, Evan? And what did people think? Let us know.
Oh, so I went back and caught highlights because that's one game I didn't get a chance to actually watch, and I actually thought it was going to be a cakewalk for Vegas. Surprise!
Colorado.
Oh, sorry, Colorado. Sorry, no. I'm still drunk from Sunday. I'm actually so tired because I've been staying up so late with these games. No, so what I was going to say, I actually meant Colorado. I thought it would be a cakewalk for Colorado, not Vegas. Now, I don't know what happened. Did they change their system? I only caught highlights. So if
I
you
watched
guys,
the game.
You watched the game. Okay. So did something look different in the game the way Colorado was playing? Did Seattle seem to change their game? What do you think you saw in that game? Because
three factors from that game. Philip Grubauer, who's had a really subpar save percentage this season. I think it was like 888 or 889, like very weak. Really outplayed it. I like to call it the Grubauer revenge tour, or game at least, because he played unreal, made some really key saves. Second off, that team plays by committee. And Evan, maybe you can refer to this. Back in 2006, when the Oilers went on that run, they didn't have any star players. Like Pronger was an elite defenseman, but they played by committee. This is what Seattle's doing. They know how to play, and each line was contributing. Now, there was a few, and again, in the playoffs, there's so little time and inches that's left that you have to make the most of it. In those moments when Colorado was, whether it was a change or whatever it may have been, Seattle pounced on it, and they made it count. The few shots that they got on net on Georgiev, who also played well.
Yeah, he played well.
They made it count, and they scored. And you have players who have been there. You've had Adam Larson, Vince Dunn. You have Jamie Alexiev, who's played on that final 2019 Dallas team, who knows what it means to take the win. You have, Yanni Gord, who is a Stanley Cup champion, who can play and is gritty. And that team plays by committee, and they forced their way, and they made him pay. And the big thing is they focused on Makar, Rantanen, and McKinnon. Your 3 big guys. Now, that's a stacked team. And don't get me wrong, Colorado has a lot of depth. They have Logan O'Connor. They have a lot of big guys that come out. They have Devontae. At one point, I don't know.
They're the Stanley Cup champs, man.
At one point, at one of their power plays, Jared Bednar brought out 3 defensemen on their power play. Because behind McKinnon, Rantanen, and of course, if Landeskog was playing, their defensemen are one of the highest scoring in the NHL. Wow. So you had Devontae, you had Cale Makar, Josh Manson, I think, was on that one as well.
Josh Manson?
3 defensemen, because you've seen it, and I believe, I want to say it's Florida Ottawa. Ottawa this year played 5 forwards on a power play. This time, 3 defensemen. Impressive, isn't it? And not because they're trying to block shots. So that's some of the key things I noticed. Go ahead.
Have you ever saw a power play with 3? I didn't know that.
That was on. Yeah, and that was very impressive. And again, it wasn't because they were trying to defend. It was a 5-on-4, but it was interesting to see, right?
Well, and so can I explain something? When I sent out a tweet, I retweeted it last night for some of you guys. I put out a tweet to all Oilers fans. I know some of you came on, like Jordan, you're talking about Oh, you've been through the decade of darkness. Well, I just like to say I've been through the pre-decade of darkness because I'm pretty old. So after they were all done, all the disappointments, all the heartbreaks before the decade ever happened, and I still believe, and Bruins fans, hang on, because you could be next. Right now, the playoffs, any team can upset anybody. There is very good parity. Like, be ready. Florida can easily come in and take a game, 2 games. And what if Edmonton tonight? What if they lose again? Yeah, they can come back. They have the ability.
It's tough.
So what I want to explain is when I say be humble, don't over-expect, because when you get really cocky and you're like, oh, we're going to win it all. We're going to do theft. We're the best power play. We got the most offense. We got this. We got that. Then you're sitting for heartache is all you got. You either it's win or bust, and you can't be cocky that way. I want to encourage you guys, go in, be excited, but I'll tell you what happens. You get so discouraged, so depressed that you don't even want to watch another game of anything else, and you can't wait to get it on. And it's just like, it's an addiction that you get. And then and then your wife divorces you. Like, I'm serious.
I personally don't want that.
Yeah, no.
Although she has a good long list, longer than the draft.
Oh my God. So I guess all I'm saying is you got to find a way to enjoy the hockey, like I'm going to look at the Oilers game. Okay. So if you're an Oiler fan, the other game, like tonight you're going in, hey, we can come back. We can win. That's good. But then you're going to be scared if you lose tonight because you're down 2-0. You're getting beat different ways. But even going into that game, like people are like, it's going to be a sweep or 5 games and we're going to walk away. And you can really feel discouraged. And I'm saying, enjoy the entertainment. That was a good game. Even if you don't like LA, it still was a good game. There's lots of drama.
Was on fire.
Oh, man. But hey, let's go back to that game.
All right.
McDavid, he was a no-show, man.
Yeah, he had a bad game, and I don't usually say that about McDavid. He does not have a bad. He normally doesn't have a bad game. Go ahead, sorry.
Exactly. Okay, so you got McDavid, you got Nuge. Nuge, by the way, as Nuge goes, that team wins. I don't care. He's the unsung hero. And then you got Hyman. He's disappeared. That whole line was bad. Nurse did not play a good game. Yeah, exactly. So you know what? Hey, let's we're gonna go backstage here, and we're gonna bring on the Lost Trucker. The Lost Trucker wants to talk some hockey. Okay, Lost Trucker, you're on the air. What do you got?
Well, it's this McDavid thing. Ever since he got his 60 goals, he's starting to play like the adult with the children. He wants to set everybody up and make everybody look good, and so that nobody says that he's a show-off or that he has a big ego. And he did the same thing in this first game. He had the opportunity. He ended up going by everybody, and he passes back when they don't even have a shot, and he has the shot to go. McDavid has to start playing like McDavid and stop worrying about what everybody thinks about him.
Okay, hang on. So, Lost Trucker, are you actually trucking right now?
I certainly am.
Look at that. So that's why you're not looking at us. Please do not look at us while you're yelling. Just keep your eye on the road. We don't want you to be the broke down trucker.
Well, we don't need you getting a ticket because we can't reimburse you yet.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. So Pavel, what do you think of that point she's bringing up?
So I agree to some extent, but the problem is the game is at such a fast pace that McDavid is thinking pass first because he's always been a playmaker. He can certainly score, and he's proven this year that 64 goals is something achievable, if not more, when he shoots. He's got a dynamic shot. Okay. The problem is, in that moment, he was trying to
he's trying to be a Gretzky. He's not a Gretzky. He's not a Gretzky. He needs to stop trying to be Gretzky. Be McDavid. He's more of a 65% assist, passer, 35% goal. He should be shooting more. Stop worrying about what everybody thinks of him. Just play the game to his ability.
Go ahead, Pavel. No, go ahead. You respond.
I think again the problem is he sees the game at such a high level. He's got such a probably the best high IQ of the game, Crosby, that he sees sometimes things that we don't even see on the ice. And of course, it's easy to in hindsight to be like, oh well, that happened, or and unfortunately that goal happened. But he did what he could. The problem was he did not have a good game overall, and he will be
no.
first to tell you. And I'm sure he's got a fire lit up under his bum, right? Like hot warm seats that you have in your truck, to the point where he's going to come out swinging.
Wow.
But Evan, your thoughts?
Okay, so Lost Trucker. So let's look back at this, because I actually agree with the Lost Trucker here. Let me tell you why. The last 4 or 5 games, I think McDavid tried to play the team game, tried to play the defensive game, trying to be the captain. And you notice all the points are going away. And now McDavid's trying to play that two-way defense. McDavid needs to do McDavid stuff and stick to it and not worry about it. I actually agree. And I think part of the problem is being too unselfish. When you've scored that many goals in the season, you got to go for it. So, okay, any last thought, and then we'll let you go, Lost Trucker.
Kraken, damn Kraken game. They did it well, and they took out the hosts. And this really, like this 6-8 visitors road wins. This is showing you the parity in the league, and that there really isn't a weak team. So let's go Stanley Cup.
Bold prediction. I mean,
thank you.
If they had a run like what's it called, like the Vegas Golden Knights, that'd be amazing. Thank you, Trucker. Wishing you safe travels wherever you're off to. It's always good to hear from you. But yeah, Evan, your thoughts on the parity of the league and just Seattle and let's talk a little bit. I know you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Vegas and Winnipeg and what happened there, because people thought, oh, Vegas is going to sweep through. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't really mention it. I mentioned Seattle, Vegas, which is totally off. I should be called the Lost 2 guy. Oh, my gosh. So I knew Winnipeg could be the upset of the first round, but I didn't expect them to come out like that the very first game. They literally, Darren Dutishin, at least maybe there was someone before him, used to use this reference on the A channel back in the day for the Edmonton Oilers, I remember. And he would say, he'd say he beats them like a rented mule, right? And that's what I felt like the Kraken took to them. They literally beat the Vegas Golden Knights like they were a rented mule. Like they didn't have to care what happens afterwards. And they made a statement. Yeah. They made a statement, not Kraken. Did it again. Oh, I keep calling them the Kraken because I see your jersey behind you. Winnipeg did. They came in and it's like they spanked them, and they spanked them good. And Hellebuck had a hell of a game.
That's true. I mean, that's the thing. They have one of the best goalies in the NHL, and when they turned it up, they turned it up. And somehow, even though they squeaked into the playoffs, it's teams like that who are playing desperate hockey, who can transition that game into the playoffs, can play desperate hockey and win. And it just goes to show you, Laurent Brossoit, who had an amazing season, and I think it was the third star or one of the 3 stars in the last month for the Vegas Golden Knights in the NHL. His 920 percentage did not look that good last night. And so do you go back to him, or does Peter DeBoer go with, I don't know if Logan Thompson's back or he's still injured.
No,
I mean,
Logan's not.
Really, just like Toronto, like they're looking at Wool. Like, what do you do in Vegas? And I'll be honest with you, Jack Eichel didn't seem like an X factor. He seemed kind of meh.
I thought he would be. I really thought he would be. So let's go back a little bit on, I think the X factor was Hellebuck. So I think they were getting stymied early on, and they get Winnipeg gets a goal, and it just changes the trajectory of a game. It's so much about momentum. By the way, I just want to put a mention. Maybe you're not catching us live right here tonight. If you are live, just go onto the link that's in your comments on Facebook and on YouTube. You can join us live. Come on, and we'll talk hockey with you right now if you want to jump in. Whoever you are, it'll take you backstage. Now, I also want to let you guys know some of the countries out there, you guys are catching us maybe an hour later, 5 hours later, some of you a day or 2 or 3 days later, following us on Facebook and or YouTube, specifically through Facebook. So last week on our actually it was this last Sunday, we haven't saw this many followers come out of Sweden. So I just want to say, hey guys, a shout out to you guys in Sweden that are joining on, as well as the Czech Republic and Bangladesh. I don't know where you guys are coming from. I don't know if you grew up with hockey, if you've been relocated hockey fans that moved there for work. But guys, big shout out. And I want to give you recognition, Finland and also the United Kingdom. So, hey guys, I appreciate you guys following us. It's guys like you that help make this work. Before we go to our next little piece, I do want to just kind of put out a bit of a teaser. So Pavel and I were just kind of talking. We're working on something. We can't give you details right now, but there's some more stuff with partnership that we're working on, some big stuff happening, and we're looking to maybe announce something by our next show next week. So there's just a few conversations in the works, and I've been reassured by our webmaster, JR Web Designs, who's coming in, that our website is getting really close. So you can go follow all our former guests. And if you want to be a writer, so send us an email to 2guyshockeytalk@gmail.com and let us know if you actually want to get involved in writing. It's one of the excellent opportunities to network yourself with hockey people everywhere. In fact, that was a lot of how not only, so I started off working in trying to take broadcasting school, and then didn't work out. So later on, I started doing writing, which I didn't think I would like, and it just networked me in to starting to work all around the game outside of playing it. So, guys, these are excellent opportunities for you to make those connections. So, anyway, where do we go next? What do you want to chat about?
I just want to make one announcement. I saw it on Twitter today that Cassidy Sauvé is back to skating. So props to her. Bravo, bravo.
Woo! Hey, Cassidy.
Nice.
Maybe tell everybody who she is.
She's a goalie. She was a former guest of the show, a goalie. She played in Finland for a bit. Then she transitioned over to Buffalo, I believe it was. I forget the name of the team, Evan. You can remind me. And she got injured a little bit, so she was out for a bit. But in the summertime, she does practice with the Toronto Maple Leafs, so that's pretty cool. So she's been a guest on the show, phenomenal goaltender, some insightful knowledge. Make sure you go check out that podcast. It was very fun. One of our best, and
I was actually just going to say she actually practices with Mitch Marner. That's
I just said the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah. No, but she actually does regular practice in off season. So guys, listen to. She was in Finland last year before she went to the Buffalo Buttes. So that's in the what's that?
I couldn't remember the Buffalo
Buttes. The Buttes, the Buffalo Buttes. So, they're beautiful, those Buttes. It's a part of the Premier Hockey Federation. So, but she got injured early in the season and missed out on part of her season. But in Finland, she had 8 wins, no losses, no ties. She didn't even have 1 goal a game. It was .88 goals against average. And she had a .964 save percentage in those 8 games. Go back to college, she had incredible save percentage, and she really talks and breaks down the goaltending piece, just like someone recently, one of our guests, right, with it. So, hey, Matt, how you doing, man? Go Avs, go Avs. Matt, hey, Matt, if you check in our links there, if you want to join us on live, we'll bring you on. We'll talk right here, right now, if you want to join in, buddy. So, guys, just remember, jump in on our link. We'll bring you on backstage. We'll pull you on and talk hockey right here live on the air. Can I kind of go to back to the Winnipeg game?
Sure.
What do you think was the difference? So the last, I don't know, I'm going to say 6 to 8 games, Winnipeg started really getting back to the basics or something. What happened with that team that literally they started great, they kind of mediocre, and then they really struggled, and then something turned around with that team? What do you have any indication or anything that you think happened or that you observed?
Rick Bowness got this team in shape. He knows how to communicate with his players. He did it in Dallas. He got him to they were competing in the Central for the top spot as of January. They had a bit of a falter. Scoring dried up, of course, but really, I mean, it comes down to coaching. He was able to motivate these guys and get them going. And Rick Bowness knows how to do that. He knows how to communicate with his players and getting them going, right? I mean, if you have a good quality coach, as you've seen in the NHL, whether it is a Bruce Cassidy, Jim Montgomery, or Jay Woodcroft, they know how to connect with the players and they know how to get the best of it. Because you're not teaching these athletes how to skate, how to pass. Right. They already know how to do this. You're motivating them. How do you get them to that next level? How do you give them a purpose? How do you put them in levels and places to succeed? And I think that's what has helped them succeed. And again, like I said, they were playing desperate hockey in the last few games because they did kind of take their foot off the pedal close to the end of the season. So okay, but they were like out of sync for 2 months. So could you not say
if a coach got him back in shape like Rick Bowness, did he lose a room for 2 months, 3 months?
No, I mean, there's a lot of things that go into factors. The long schedule, the travel time.
Yeah.
There's always things personally going on for players. Sickness could be going through the room.
Okay.
Sometimes you're on a drought where players weren't scoring for a few games, and that really takes up a lot of you, like a lot of confidence in your game. Maybe you're not feeling the best. Maybe you're having a spat with a player or with a colleague. Like, there's all these factors that people don't take about. We've talked about this dynamic that's beyond the ice, and sometimes those things take effect, right? And
Kyle was in our backstage. So Kyle, I don't know if you're there. Come on back on. You were there for a minute. I was going to ask you a question. So Kyle Edwards, he's a Bruins fan. In the midst of watching the Bruins probably right now. That's why he had to leave. Maybe they got scored on. I haven't checked my scores right now. But jump back on, Kyle. Okay, yeah, no, absolutely. What's that?
I was jumping in on Kyle's show just recently.
Oh, were you? Awesome. Okay, let's bring him on. Hey, Kyle, how you doing, man? Are you on? Can you hear us? Hello, can you hear us? Oh, there we go. We're moving around. Are you there, Kyle? Okay.
Kyle's
are you there, Kyle? Can you hear us?
Can you hear us? Testing. Kyle's like the Boston Bruins. He comes in and out of our lives.
Oh my goodness, this is too funny. So, by the way, Kyle just can't make up his mind if he wants to come on and talk about his Bruins.
He's our mystery guest. He's coming in. Not going to say much. Strong choice.
Yeah, he's gonna. This is the whole teaser. We're just kind of teasing you a little bit. So Kyle is a number one fan and is totally supportive of his Boston Bruins, who are ranked, guys, the number one team, the best regular season team in wins in NHL history. He goes, I couldn't hear you guys. You had to head back out, Kyle. Yeah, we got you. Sometimes if you go out, Kyle, and come back in, we'll be able to actually get you going. All right.
He's got a great show, chomping at the bit, which is great. Hey, man, trying to make a Conn Smythe's future. McDavid, Pasta, or Allmark. I mean, it depends on who's in the final. If it's those guys, it really can depend, right? Like, are they injured? You know what's funny about the Conn Smythe, Evan? I'm going to say, and Matt, maybe you can chime in whether you agree or not. It's supposed to be based on the full series in terms of 4 rounds. But oftentimes you see voters will pick someone or hone in on someone in the last series, in the Stanley Cup final for a team, and what it is. So, for example, in 2019 when the Blues won, Bennington essentially, I thought, would have won it, but it ended up being Ryan O'Reilly because he had such a good series against the Bruins. So you wonder, is it biased again where it's just like the last series, or should it be against the 4-round series that the team participates in, right? And it's very odd sometimes. I know it doesn't happen. It's happened rarely in history of the hockey world. Where a team of the loser, or essentially doesn't win the Stanley Cup, wins the Conn Smythe, right? It's always interesting to see that. So, deserved last year for Makar, but.
But again, he's a winning team. So, is Ron Hextall?
I'm just saying last year because he played. Makar was so impactful throughout 4 seasons.
Oh yeah,
but before that,
Makar was the difference against the Oilers. I don't care what you guys say. He was the difference maker. Yes. I mean, literally, he was the one defensively coming back and stopping McDavid constantly while they were stopping him and Draisaitl in essence, because they were playing the same line, with it. So, going back, so I haven't maybe paid enough attention over the years, but the last Conn Smythe winner who lost, I think, is Ron Hextall. In 1987 against the Edmonton Oilers in a 7-game series, he was still named the winner of the Conn Smythe as the best player in the playoffs. Am I wrong?
Let's take a look here. I'm looking.
Okay, so our air's filled with you looking. Hey, guys, just while we're here, kind of working up, just guys, remember every Wednesday night, 7 p.m., follow us on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook. You can follow Two Guys and Hockey Talk. And when you come on here to our show, This is our live show. So Two Guys in Hockey Talk live show where we're interactive. We go with several guests all throughout around the world, in the hockey world at every level, women's, men's, junior, whether they're agents, past presidents, management, players, former. Go on, check out our show. Our website's coming soon. Sponsored by JR Web Designs. We also thank Sports Empire Network, who we also work as a hockey content on their show. They give us a platform in our partnership, and they also promote our show on all their different channels, guys. So give them a follow for all your other stuff. In fact, chomping at the bit, Kyle, who we just had on, I was going to give him a chance to advertise his show here, but
Chomping at the bits.
Chomping
So
at
we had Glenn Hall in 1968 with the St. Louis Blues, who that was their first inaugural season. Reggie Leach in 1976 with the Flyers. Again, the most goals. Ron Hextall the year after with the Flyers. And then Jean-Sebastien Giguère in 2003.
Jean-Sebastien Giguère. That's right. Yeah. Hey, so I just want to correct. You said Reggie Leach and you said Ron Hextall the year after. It wasn't the year after. It was the next Flyer. Reggie. Right. Yeah. But anyway, that's okay.
Reggie Leach, 1976 Philadelphia Flyers. Sorry, 1987. Yeah. My numbers are wrong. I got to get something wrong to get down to your level here tonight.
Dude, I have a really bad back from carrying you on this show so many weeks in a row.
That's
just
true.
Like, it's anyway.
You need a better backpack and harness.
I digress a little bit. So while we're waiting around on a whole bunch of folks here, what was this? So Matt was saying, so glad he's back. Who's back? Matt, I might have missed that. Do you know what he was referring to?
Oh, I must have missed it. That somebody's back. Missed it.
Somebody's back. So he was referring to
who's back?
Oh, Makar. So glad he's back.
Oh,
I bet you was referring to Makar. Yep, there we go. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. Absolutely. So, Matt, let's talk about this, Pavel. What do the Avs have to do to get back in this and to make sure that the Kraken can't surprise them again in the next game?
Play their game, play more defensively sound game, and try to have more quality grade A chances of scoring. I mean, that's really it. You have the building for game 2. You want to win at least that one because you do not want to go back to that Seattle building, which is loud, as the trucker has been there before, and really just be down 2-0, right? I'm not saying Colorado can't do it, but they really need it. And you can definitely tell the impact missing from Gabriel Landeskog not being there, right? Now, that being said, I will give a props to JT Compher, who's been an elite second-line center. Last year was their third-line center and has really stepped up. And Bowen Byram, this should be his coming out party. We all know how good he can be. He needs to step it up and show us how good he can be, right? Because you've got your top pairing with Makar and Taves. Bowen Byram needs to step up and get up there, right? So...
And that's tough. He's still quite young, right? You know, not everybody can be a Makar when they're coming in. And the truth is Makar took the NCAA route, right? You know, as they were coming in. So looks like Kyle's trying to jump back in here again. Let's see if we can get you on, Kyle. Let's bring you in. Are you able to hear us now? You still can't hear us. You can't hear us, eh? Oh my goodness. I don't know what's happening on our piece here. Poor Kyle. We keep bringing him in. Kyle, you're teasing us. Oh, poor guy. Well, Kyle, we tried really hard. Not sure. Maybe we should send the lost trucker to go find out what's going on with Kyle over there in Boston.
Give her a few hours.
She's got to go. We'll have to send her out to search and see what's happening with everyone. Hey, can I just take a moment? I just actually want to go. Oh, hang on here. Are we trying to come back here? Let's just see if we're going to be able to make this work. We're trying one last time. No. Anything working?
I hear something. You're not saying anything, Kyle. Say something. Nothing?
Talk?
You got to say Boston.
Oh, poor Kyle. I don't know what's happening on the connection. There we go. Are we good to go?
Oh,
we hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
Talk.
Oh.
Well, guys, don't say we don't try experimental stuff on her. Oh, I like this. Matt. He's trolling.
He's probably trying to troll us.
Yeah,
Matt,
yeah.
let us know in the comments below who you're cheering for. Is it the Avalanche, or do you have another team that you're following?
So, but just so you know, Matt, actually, Kyle is a part of the Sports Empire Network. So he may be trolling, but he's a buddy who's trolling. Okay, there he is. He's coming up. Sorry, guys. It's not working for some reason. All right, no problem, Kyle. Another day, another dollar.
Be on our show, Kyle, you should have just said so.
Yeah, you didn't have to tease us with it, right?
Yeah.
It's so working. There, Zilstra is giving you some advice. She says you need to check yes on your speaker box. Well, I told you the Lost Trucker would find the people that can't figure out the show. I think the Lost Trucker should be our tech behind the scenes and take care of that, because obviously I'm not able to make it work for you, Kyle.
And here I hired my cats to do all the work, but they just play with the cables.
Oh, your cats. Yeah, when you're working with them. So, hey, can I go back to some a little bit older news, guys, around the hockey world in the last little bit of time we have here? A couple things. I don't know about you guys. Nashville, they unveiled a statue outside the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. He just retired, but you can say he was their best player, and that's Piqué René. He's not even a Hall of Fame player. Piqué René. He hasn't even been in the Hall of Fame. He just retired. They have a bloody statue. Like, what you think that's okay? Have a statue? Okay, so every time a player retires, you just, because he was your best player, you didn't even give him a year. You didn't even give him any time. You just build a statue. So
it was a year. He retired last year. And
okay. Sorry. I'm going to put a statue up 10 months later to a player who's not even in the Hall of Fame. He's not on a wall. He's not anywhere. They didn't raise a banner, and they make a statue.
So let's be honest. They did raise a banner as a joke. Remember when they had that banner that said, like, they went to the Stanley Cup final or something like that? Do you remember that? And how silly it was?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Sure. Yeah, that's true. Got in the way because watching McDavid and Draisaitl is crazy. But yeah, I have no problem with him being a local folklore hero, a player that brought the excitement to Nashville. That 2016-17 playoff run, he was elite. You know, he's a big deal in that area, and if they believe that he matters, right? I understand.
Okay,
you know, Gretzky has some weight, but
okay. So what? Okay, let's look at the Edmonton Oilers. They have one statue, and that's of a guy who's probably the greatest player to ever lace up the skates in hockey. I do not understand how you can go ahead and put a statue up of. I'm having a bit of a problem with this, Nashville fans. I love Smashville. I love what you guys got going, but I think you got to wait a little longer. I felt this was desperation from the. I'm spitting. I'm just like frothing at the mouth. I'm so frustrated. It's like, why would you put a statue out? And I mean, the Oilers should have Paul Coffey. They should have Lee Fogelin. They should have, I mean, they could go back about great players. Mark Messier.
Jari Kurri.
Like I get like, so in Edmonton, they have Gretzky Drive, right? I get it. They have Messier Drive or things like that. Like, name cities a place, but a statue? Now, hang on though. Let's talk about statues for a moment. What about the Philadelphia Flyers, right? Okay, let's go over there. The city of Philadelphia, it is kind of interesting because the only boxing statue they have is Rocky Balboa, a fictional character from a movie.
Yeah.
It's a movie boxer. So really it's the one of Sylvester Stallone is really what it is. It's just like, so I guess if Philly can put a boxer that's actually from a movie, I guess Smashville can put up a guy that's only 10 months released from his, into his retirement. I don't know.
First off, that movie series of Rocky Balboa, and even the new ones with Creed, is phenomenal. Oh, Matt's saying Kings will win the cup every time they trade with the Jackets, though. I mean, they traded Quick away, and Quick didn't even want to go to the Jackets, so they had to work on that as well. But, again, if cities want to honor fictional or real places by having statues, that's up to them. I'm not paying for that. I'm not in charge of that. All the power to them. I think you're just trying to alienate all the Nashville fans. Everyone, his Twitter handle is Revenev, so go at him right now about statues.
Yeah.
essentially, if they want to have a statue, they have a statue.
Oh,
Mark.
Okay.
One of what's it called? Of Dustin Brown.
Yes.
Recently that was released.
So Zylstra, you're just saying that you thought it was Rocky Marciano, is what you're saying, which Rocky was okay. Yeah, no, it's actually Rocky Balboa.
Yeah,
it's actually
Rocky
the Balboa.
I've been there.
Yeah. I know what you meant, Zill. So it's called auto incorrect, not autocorrect. Our phones do some really weird stuff with that. And by the way, she's Lost Trucker is telling us she's finally done, but she's lost somewhere north of Sacramento.
The Kings are in the playoffs. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the NBA there. But anyways,
yeah,
that's an aside.
So, hey, just an aside part for everybody here. We're going to be shutting off in about 5-7 minutes here. If you want to jump on, just in the post there, you can be able to jump in. Where did I go here? I didn't actually put my stuff in.
The one thing that I'm going to say is keep an eye on Arizona because they have a big month of May. For a team that's not in the playoffs, they're going to have a big month with the vote. Yeah. And apparently there's been a group going around trying to de-promote the arena and not make it happen, even though we don't know who it's by or whatnot. But there's been some reports of people going door to door saying, do you know what this arena is going to do to you? And it's taxpayer dollars and ... There's been some false narratives around that. So keep an eye out for that, as well as the draft, because the draft's going to be coming up. And we're going to be picking our winners here soon for the Norris, the Vesna, the Jack Adams, and we definitely have some thoughts on that. But Evan, go ahead.
I was going to say that the one part within Arizona, there's a countersuit people have probably also heard because they're trying to really level things out. And
versus Glendale.
So now I got it wrong. I thought it was John Shannon. So 3 weeks ago, so Frank Saravelli was talking. He lives in the States now. And one of the things that he said he's worried about with that vote, when it comes to the vote that comes in referendum. So what happens is they have an election. At the bottom of the election is the referendum question. And so he says there's going to be a lot of people that know nothing about the arena or hockey, and they're just going to go by whatever they heard in the background. Nothing, because they probably aren't fully informed. So that's why he's really uncertain. He goes, most times I don't even check those boxes off because I don't know anything, or I just check whatever somebody told me to say, right? So if they're going around and they're putting some, things in their ear or things that are it's crazy.
I was going to add
go ahead.
Go
ahead.
So if you want to be a conspiracy theorist in the world of hockey, I know that there's an owner who owns the I don't know if it's the Utah Jazz, the NBA team. He really wants the team in Atlanta again. Now, we all know, we talked a little bit about that.
Vernon. Is that Vernon? I think it's, isn't it? Vernon?
And so they want to potentially build a new arena rink in Atlanta. So if you want to put two and two together, maybe the NHL is bracing for Arizona to move, but it would be to stay in the southern state in Georgia and just maybe move there. Now, they could do a little fiddling if it moves that far east, because then they would have to move a team that's west or central, essentially, right? Which Arizona had to do because they were originally in the Pacific. But if this doesn't work out, I think the NHL wants to be prepared, because there's no guarantee that they'll get the vote. And so what's going to happen with the Coyotes next year, right?
It's too much drama.
It's
too much.
It's too much food for thought.
Yeah, too much drama. So Zylstra brings up a good point. So, and she's very knowledgeable in that area. The Lost Trucker gets lost a lot in Arizona. So she's very familiar with that. And she was mentioning 40,000 people actually in that area of Tempe is what you're looking at for voters to be able to come in. It's a small section in itself that's making a big decision. So that's not a lot of votes to come in on. What was the other thing? So Matt was talking about Cleveland. Man, that would be awesome. I'd love. So Columbus would have a competition with Cleveland. That would be great. It's but this is all theory. And by the way, go to our Facebook page, Two Guys in Hockey Talk. There we have I posted a little bit of stuff around it. There is some people saying that they want to attract the team again. What he's trying to do is give back to Atlanta for everything that they've given to him in his ownership. And so he wants to propose this a multi-billion-dollar complex, a big deal. But he's saying, but he wants it so good that literally a NHL franchise could just say, "Hey, we're coming," because it's so good. So he didn't say we're building it for the NHL. So let's be clear about that. He was very specific. Don't misread into that, because I think we all believe, most of us anyway, that if the first team is going to have a chance is going to be Houston, because they've showed they own their arena, and the owner owns the NBA. Houston is it Rockets in the NBA?
Yeah, just the Rockets. Now, that's why I said conspiracy theorists and making that leap, right? I'm not saying it's factual, right? So, take it with a grain of salt. There's definitely something there, right? All Canadian Stanley Cup will give Commissioner apocalyptic fits. It's true. It's true.
Oh, my goodness.
Really, at the end of the day, it will be interesting to see what happens, because, again, it's behind the scenes. You have to know who is making money and how they're doing financially overall, because it is a big operation. That being said, I do want to announce, because I know you mentioned Columbus, Alex Texier, who had to take some time off this past season for personal reasons, will be returning to Columbus Blue Jacket. He was a highly sought-off draft pick to play center. He went back home to France. That's where he's from. Another player from France, if you want to know, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare in the playoffs right now. But
awesome.
He will be returning back, and that will give definitely Columbus a bit of a boost at the depth center position. So just wanted to mention that.
That's really, so why don't we do our final wrap up of one last conversation? Anyone that's still following with us right now. So we're not going to be able to bring anyone else on. We're going to have, if you want to throw some comments, we'll kind of comment around that. So thanks for those that were attempting and those that actually got on here tonight. It's the first time. We're just trying it out to see if you guys like it or not. It's up to you guys. So
Kyle was so eager to get on. He kept trying and trying and trying. He had so many thoughts about Bruins. You guys should go back and watch the episode, because he had so many insightful things. He fixed everything. If you watch and listen, he fixed reffing. He fixed the division. He made Arizona successful. Like, just wonders what he was sharing.
That's hilarious. Okay, let's finish this last piece. This is a big piece that's out there. I've commented on Twitter at RevanEv or at hockey _2. I always want to call you Hockey Talk, but you're a Hockey 2 for our hockey 2 guys in Hockey Talk. So Pavel runs that part of the Twitter world. So guys, in the Twitter, we're talking a little bit back and forth, and one of the things right now is about general managers. Kyle Dubas doesn't have a contract. We talked about Trey Living. He chose not to stay in Calgary. There was a rift of something. He did not follow the vision they wanted. I've already said it. And this is speculation, because I've got what I think are insiders, and they're not Pavel the Cat. And it sounds like they wanted Sutter. Trey Living wanted to move on, but it's a lot of money, and they don't have a lot of money to play with. And so it gets really tough, right? I just got to post this. Good one, Zill. Kyle for commissioner in 2024. Let's start the campaign. There we go. Kyle, if you're getting this later, go for it, dude. Try it. So here's the thing. Trey Living is out. There's options. And I'm telling you right now, he's landing in, I know there's going to be 3 spots possibly, but 1 and 2 spots. The number 1 spot, and that's if Dubas leaves and doesn't return, or they don't bring him back, and that is Toronto. Trey Living would fit in there. But also, I'm telling you, Pittsburgh is hot on the tail right now to look at. And if Pittsburgh can get him signed earlier, then before Toronto even is out of the playoff potentially, they could sign themselves into him. But there's also talk that they want to wait, because if Kyle Dubas is not there, he could end up in Pittsburgh. And I know Pavel's talked about that part of it. So there's a little bit of a triangle. But I start to wonder if they want to keep Sutter. Either Sutter becomes, I think Sutter's a better GM than a coach, in my opinion. But it didn't go well the first time around. So will they do it again? But they have Craig Conroy, and I'm trying to remember the other assistant general manager. Could they say, hey, this is what we got. We're going to give you guys a chance to continue. But they don't want to do a rebuild. They do not want to. And that was the thing that Trey Living was ready to make some big changes last year. And the Flames are not going to do a rebuild. They're kind of doing the
And they were
Detroit thing.
close to the playoffs. I mean, they could still make the playoffs next year. They're not that far off. So
Yeah, possibly, but are you going to move further? How you get further ahead with older players and your push? I don't know.
Well,
It's
but
going
you
to
have
be
a lot
hard.
of those players on 1 more year contracts, like a Tyler Toffoli, like a Michael Backlund, like a Elias Lindholm.
Okay,
And
so what if
you
they
wanna
don't
go for
sign?
one last hurrah,
What if they don't sign? And
well, you
and
have
if
1 more
they
year with them.
Okay,
You have 1
okay,
more
watch
year
this,
with
though.
them. So you
Say
trade
you
them at
ha-
the trade deadline next year.
Okay, so but let's just say you have them next year. You're not getting in the playoffs with them any more than you were this year, unless you have a
So you
better
trade them
year
at
out
the
of all
trade
those players.
deadline because you'll know where you're at.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I get it, but now you trade them at the trade deadline, and you're still now
so you get
pushing yourself.
prospects.
Yeah, but now are you rebuilding? Because they don't want to
Maybe
rebuild in
retooling.
Calgary.
I don't know. I don't know what they're going to be at
retooling.
next year.
Yeah,
I don't know what the situation is. My biggest question for Calgary, like most teams, is what's their goaltending situation? With the emergence of Dustin Wolf as a really good player, and I know it's only 1 or 2 games, but is he our backup next year? Is Vladar gone? Is Markstrom gone? Are you going to throw that away, right? Because Markstrom's in year 3, or he's going to be in year 4 of his 6-year contract.
Dustin Wolf's going to be there though because.
But then what are you doing with Vladar or
he's gone.
Markstrom?
I think he's gone.
Okay.
Yeah. And Zill said, what if new GM trades Huberdeau before the contract kicks in? Who's
going to take that on?
Well, you know what? I might consider that if I was Columbus.
They have no cap. Who are you trading from Columbus?
Yeah.
They're against the cap.
Yeah, you trade players. That's how you do it. You don't know how to do that? Go talk to Kyle Dubas. He knows how.
So you want to trade 2-3 good, solid young rookies for one older player who's in his 30s?
One older player?
Yeah,
he's the
Jonathan
same.
Huberdeau.
The guy is only 3 months older than Johnny Gaudreau. What are you talking about?
Who?
He's 3 months. Jonathan Huberdeau is 3-4 months older than Johnny Gaudreau. They're almost the same age. They both were unrestricted free agents coming in.
He's 29.
It's not much. And look at Johnny Gaudreau. Look at their birthdays. It's less than a year apart. And they're coming in.
His contract is bigger than what Johnny Gaudreau is.
And last year, Huberdeau had the best left wing, most assists in the NHL history. You don't just change overnight, either injury.
Yeah, but you're not going to take somebody who has no trade clause included in their thing, and that's what Huberdeau does.
Yeah, but that's fine. We can get rid of those contracts. The guy's not going to play as bad as he
trade clause. How do you get rid of a no trade clause?
What she just said, you trade him before it kicks in. You trade him before it kicks in, and then you unload that contract. But the new people don't care. If Columbus can find a way to make it work, you make it work.
So you got to trade him right now before July 1st, before the playoffs over. Which you don't have a GM
at the draft.
So it's not going to work out.
At the draft, and it's going to be done soon, right, Zill?
You can't do it at the draft because the new contracts are in place.
All right, Matt. First-time viewer, great show. Cup Finals picks. Yeah, we mentioned it last week, Matt. You can check out our show on Sunday, but we'll tell you now. What did you pick, Val?
We didn't pick finalists. We just went through our
we
did.
Technically,
we did. So, I said Oilers versus Boston.
Yeah, and I said Oilers, Boston, and I said that Boston would take it in 6 or 7.
Yeah. I also want to make one mention, and I know this is predominantly about Edmonton, but also a few other teams that I've seen this happen in the past few years. Please do not throw your garbage or your beers on the ice.
It's ridiculous.
Stop being juvenile. I don't care who you are. That's the silliest thing ever. Plus, it's $12. Why are you wasting good beer to throw it on the ice like that? That is pathetic. And in game 1, come on.
Yeah, it gives a really bad flavor.
That's embarrassing. Don't ask.
Yeah. No, I totally. You know what? It's one thing if it's part of the spirit of whatever you're throwing hats.
You can complain.
You know what? You
jersey throwing, garbage throwing on the ice.
You know what? I'm okay with jersey throwing. You paid for it. It will not injure anybody going on the ice after the play of the game. I'm fine with jersey throwing. No. Well, guys, that's another edition, another ring-a-ding-dong dandy. Thanks for joining in. We appreciate it. We're going to let you go. Enjoy the rest of the playoffs. We'll see you next week as we update. And as we always say, in the meantime and in between time,
keep your sticks on the ice and your garbage off the ice.
All right. Have a good one.